Hello guys, and welcome to my Ride VIP channel. This is a ride check channel and my name is Serge. Thank you so much for watching. What I want to do, guys, is do a little test. I'm currently at diamond status with Uber, and what I'm gonna start doing is picking and choosing my rides, and I want to see how long it actually takes for me to lose my status. And I'm going to talk a lot about this in the videos, just in case somebody's new and they haven't seen it. But what I'm kind of like focusing on is not how many miles I'm going to drive and how much money I want to earn per mile, but rather than that, I want to focus on the actual time it takes to actually make that money. With the upfront earnings now, it is kind of been strange. I've been noticing that the income been going down, and that wasn't the case before the earnings. Of course, this wasn't very apparent once it actually launched. In the beginning, it seemed like, okay, it was about the same. But now I'm noticing a trend where the income is going down if you just accepting, like rides all the time that they're giving you. But of course, if you don't, you sort of get punished for it. So I'm at diamond status, and I'm wondering, will I lose that diamond status? And will I actually get kicked off the platform just for simply being a business owner and deciding what actually makes sense for me and what doesn't? So I drive a BMW. So this is a 5 Series 2010 E60 type of model. I would not recommend to use them for Uber, but this is what I got. So the fuel economy on this one, it's about like 25.5 miles per gallon. That is probably really not the case. It's probably a lot worse than that. But that's actually what the computer's telling me on the dash, and I wouldn't really trust them. So that does not even matter, I guess, at this point. So the question is, how much money do I want to make per hour? Not per mile, because I'm going to put my time in. I want to make sure that I'm making good money. So I want to make between $25 and $30 per hour. And actually, guys, just yesterday, Uber flashed me like this thing, say, oh, this Friday earn $35 an hour. Well, I haven't been seeing that, guys. I've been seeing $12 an hour, $14 an hour. So once you actually do that, and then you use, like you fuel up and stuff like that, and how much money do you really make? I mean, I guess it's going to be according to your car. But at that point, I don't even think it's worth it anymore, because the problem is that right now you could actually get a job just about anywhere, and you could make about $15 an hour without driving and using all this fuel. You could just drive to a job, make it $15 an hour, and if you work overtime, you make overtime pay. Of course, as you know, we're not employees here. We're treated as contractors, yet we cannot make decisions. So they're telling us you can make a decision and you could choose not to take something. Recently, I called them up and I said, guys, you got me from Charlotte. I was at the airport, CLT. They got me like a trip. I think they paid me like $100 for it. And it took me to Columbia, South Carolina, which is about like 140-mile trip or something like that. So it was kind of like ridiculous. So I accepted it, but I'm like, what did I just do? It's just like, I'm not going to get nothing back. I'm just going to end up driving back. And they kind of, I guess, don't care. So to make matters worse, once I made it to Columbia, I could not even actually do Uber X. And I live in South Carolina. So I'm thinking, well, what's going on here? I live in South Carolina. I have my inspection done like Uber requires, because South Carolina does not have inspection. So I had to go to North Carolina and get it inspected at one of the inspection places. Maybe you guys have to get it too. So the only thing that was available for me to do was food delivery. And I'm thinking, what? Why is only food here, but I cannot do Uber X? I thought like, is something wrong with my app? But anyways, I called them up because I'm a diamond, and they're like, oh, thank you for being a diamond, blah, blah, blah. And I said, guys, what's going on? Why can't I go back? I just came here. And they said, oh, well, that is not your area. Your area is Charlotte. I said, yeah, but I live in South Carolina. Shouldn't I be able to work in South Carolina? And they said, no, you have to choose your area, stuff like that. But anyways, that might be a little bit besides the topic. But where I'm getting at is this, guys. You get sent somewhere, it in your state might be like another city 60 miles away, 100 miles away. And the way they're looking at it is like, well, how much we're going to pay you going like one way? Who's thinking about how much money you're going to make on your way back? Nobody. You have to kind of think about that. So you should be able to then decide whether or not you want to take that trip. And that's what they told me. They're like, you can decide not to take it. But I said, well, then my acceptance rates goes down and things of that nature. And they said, yeah, but you have the decision. But I'm thinking, it's so strange. Why are we getting punished by our acceptance rate that's going down if a lot of the stuff that we're getting does not even make any sense? You look at it, you're like, what? Like, and I'm going to show you guys some of this stuff. I'm going to make like some screen recordings where you're going to see the actual job pop-ups. You will actually see that. And it's going to say, like, for instance, 46 minutes for $12. So that is a 46-minute total trip with the pickup and delivery for like $12, or sometimes $8, guys, sometimes $11. And then you're thinking, well, plus there's gonna be waiting involved, so you're gonna have to wait for the person. A lot of these people, they don't even care. They do not value our time. They're taking longer than 5 minutes to get out. Like, I mean, we should not even wait 5 minutes. Like, they should already be out and waiting. I mean, after all, they requested us in advance. They know that we're on our way there. So they should have their stuff together. They should be able to already come out of the house and stand there and wait for you. You pick them up and you go, because each pickup means you're losing about 5 minutes if they don't do that. But some are even worse. They're waiting, like, they're taking like longer than 5 minutes. Like, I had one yesterday. A guy gets in here and he's like, oh, did my 2 stops show up? And I said, yeah, I see your first stop, you know. And he says, well, my first one, he says, it's gonna be In-N-Out. I said, In-N-Out restaurant? I'm like, I didn't think we had any In-N-Out. He's like, no, it's going to be like In-N-Out. I'm like, okay. So that's fine. So I told him, I said, make sure you do not take longer than 5 minutes. I said, I'm only getting paid $4 for this trip. I don't know what you're paying, but I'm only getting $4. So it is not worth it for me to wait longer than 5 minutes. And he says, yeah, I understand. Hey, what if I tip you? What kind of tip is best for you? I said, cash is best, because everybody that told me they're going to tip me like really good never did, because they're thinking about tipping in the app. So I think in that situation, we should just say, well, basically money talks, bullshit walks. It's like, okay, I want to see it. Give me in cash, or Cash App, Venmo, something, you know, because all that talk is cheap. Talk is cheap, as they say, you know. And a lot of times, like, man, oh, this is great, man, I'm going to tip you good, man, I'm going to tip you great. But really, they end up never tipping. And maybe you notice, guys, I don't know if this is certain days, certain times of the day, certain clientele, but I'm noticing about 80 to 90% of people stop tipping. And it might flip-flop back, but I'm noticing people are tipping less. And part of the reason is that people are paying more for the rides. So they're probably thinking that it's no longer affordable for them to tip. Or maybe they just don't want to tip. Like, I noticed, and tell me, guys, if you notice this too, I noticed most of the people from a very, like, wealthy neighborhoods, like, they got mansions, they never tip. Tell me if this is the case with you guys. I don't know if they feel entitled, and they're more personality, like, hey, this is the type of person you may be asking for some money, which I never do. They'll give you a book, and they're going to say, we're about teaching a man to fish rather than giving him a fish, which is a fine type of understanding. But when you're doing a service type of job, we're not begging them for money. They need to kind of, like, you know, they got a good service, you know, tip, you know, obviously. But anyways, that being said, guys, I came for the, you know, speaking about this guy that said he's going to be like In-N-Out. Literally, I came to the location, I explained, he never left me any money, and I told him, I said, you know, we're kind of like joking around, he's kind of like a young guy, and I said to him, you know how in the movies, they say, hey, taxi, wait for me, can you wait for me? And then they get out, but they don't give a guy like no money, and the taxi drives off. I said, same situation here. I said, remember in the movies, they're like, hey, can you wait for me? Here's like, you know, 50s, 100s, you know, they'll give something to the driver, and he ends up waiting. And he's like, yeah. Like, it seems like he understood. And so I took him all the way to the gate where he's got to go. He went to the storage unit, and he literally, like, I dropped him off, and I'm like, I put a timer of like 5 minutes, and the timer was up. And I'm like looking around. He's like not even coming. I gave him a call. He's not even answering his phone. And I waited one additional minute. Nothing. He did not come. I went ahead and I canceled for him. And I still got my $4. And that's just like, this is like what I'm talking about. Like, people don't value your time. So like, one of the things is that I'm going to be like stop doing is waiting for people. Soon as the timer is expiring, boom, cancel, move on to the next one. Because your time is important and you're here to make money per hour. And now with the upfront earnings, guys, this is what I also noticed. And tell me if you noticed this too. What's not being taken into account is your time. See, they estimate from point A to point B, from the time you pick up to the time you deliver them, it's, let's say, like 3-4 miles. So they might say like, let's say like $4 for that type of trip, total miles and stuff like that in time. And it might seem like a good idea, but not if you're picking them up from a hotel 2 miles away and taking them 2 miles to some kind of event, and you bring them to the event and now you're in line for 35 minutes, sometimes even longer. Seriously, I got paid for like one of these rides, like $4 or $5. I was waiting in line for 35 minutes. I actually did not even get a chance to even go all the way there. And people said they're just going to start walking. Again, no tip. And I basically wasted approximately 45 minutes of my time from the time I picked them up because they took their time to the time that I took them. And then all that time wasted, I'm thinking like, wow, like we're kind of getting screwed here because they're giving us upfront earnings, but they do not take into account all the waiting you're going to have to do. Like when you run into traffic situations with Charlotte, so much traffic. When you run into situations like events, and a lot of events that we do, it's like, oh, we're going to make all kinds of money. Well, you might notice this, guys. Tell me if you notice this too. The area is surging. It is surging. You could see all kinds of money. As soon as you become available, the rates drop in half, sometimes even a third. Tell me if you notice in that thing. It's like some kind of scam. I think I am on screen recorded like one of those situations. As soon as you come available, boom, a surge is cut. So I think the customer possibly is paying the surge. You're not going to get the surge, or it's some kind of scam to get you there. But I do not actually chase the surges. It just so happens sometimes I'm having lunch, I'm offline, and then I look, wow, my area is surging. I put myself online, boom, cut in half. And Uber is worse about that than Lyft. Lyft sometimes does that too, but I think you have slightly more of a response time or when it comes to that. Okay, so that being said, guys, I didn't know this is gonna be a long video, but this channel is gonna be, rideshare. We're gonna talk about these different situations here. So let me, I guess, just explain to you guys kind of like the deal here. So because I want to make $25 to $30 an hour, preferably at least $30 an hour, because then I have to take fuel into account. So if I'm making $20 an hour, $25 an hour, that $5 it doesn't go towards fuel, maybe like 10 will. So you ultimately will make about like 15, and sometimes even half of the fuel costs will go. I've noticed that too. But anyways, I do write down how much money I make, how many miles I spend. So I'll go over that with you as well. I have that in my notepad. I write down all the miles. I keep track of it for taxes, but I also write down how much money I spend for fuel. So I know day to day, what did it actually cost me to make that money, how many miles I drove. So we could kind of break that down and we could actually learn how much. But since you only have 12 hours of work time that they allow you to do, and you actually work the whole 12 hours, after the whole 12-hour period, if you divide like your money, let's say you made $300, you divide it into 12, that should come out to be exactly per hour what you're making for that whole day. So you have to look at the whole picture. So after you look at the whole picture, you should be making anywhere from $20 to $30. At least that's what I'm saying for me, because I want to make at least 25 to 30. Now, what they're trying to offer me, and you will see that when I'm going to show you, is $4 for 20 minutes of my time, for 25 minutes of my time, $4. So you got to look at that saying, okay, well, if I'm making $4 for 20 minutes, not including wait time, just like not including, but let's say you got lucky and that was exactly what they said it was. 20 minutes for $4. That means in an hour, there's 60 minutes. So that is only $12 per hour that you're going to make. And out of that, you'll have to take fuel. What kind of sense does that make with the fuel prices going up? So right now in Charlotte, the fuel prices are $4.59 a gallon. This is where I work, but I live in South Carolina. So I got lucky and I just fueled up for $3.78, and I'm kind of thinking, how is this even possible? Literally a gas station just like half a mile down the street, like it's a brand new gas station, Circle K. It is like $4.29, and I'm like, that is weird. And this is South Carolina. So anyways, I guess I'll take it. I'll take what I can. So what I'm gonna start doing now is every time Uber is offering me a trip, I'm gonna look at that very quickly. I'm gonna screen record it, and I'm gonna comment on what they're really doing. And sometimes I'll end up taking it, sometimes I will not, because I cannot completely not take anything, because if I'm also sitting and not driving, I'm basically not making money at that point. So I don't want to sit there all day. But what happens is, I already said bunch of no's, guys. My acceptance rate went down from like 98% acceptance rate to like 85%, and it's gonna drop down even more. So next videos are gonna be much shorter, guys. I just want to introduce to you guys kind of like what I'm getting ready to do. So you're gonna see a lot of short videos that are gonna be like screen recorded, and I'll just comment on that stuff over there, you know. So subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much, guys, for your time, for watching this. I don't know why it's taking so long, but anyways, this is kind of like one of those like introductory videos, and a little bit informational, makes sense. But hopefully we could all come together. Oh yeah, this is kind of like what I want to come out of this. If we all accept trash, we're gonna be offered trash. If we do not accept the trash, our acceptance rates will go down, and there's possibility that you will get kicked off the platform. So I want to test to see if I will get kicked off the platform. If I will, I don't care. I don't care. So we're going to use me as guinea pig, okay? So I want to test it if this is possible to get kicked off. Because if I get kicked off for basically doing my job and being an actual contractor that decides what kind of job he wants, how much money that we want to get paid, if I get kicked for that, I'm no longer a contractor. So this could be like a class action lawsuit. And so what I'm going to do is, I don't want to have a lawsuit, okay? But I will document everything. So if I get kicked off the platform, I will present the evidence to the company and say, look, you're basically kicking me off. I was a diamond status. I did everything as I should. I have almost, 5-star rating, with an exception. You can't please everybody. Somebody is always going to rate you bad, so that's just going to happen. So if they do that and they kick me off, they're not in the right. So they can't kick me off. Yes, I could lose my diamond status. That's absolutely fine. This is a diamond status that they made up, okay? There's some perks for that. We'll go over the perks in a later video, and they're not even worth it to me. If each trip you're losing $4, how much is that if you take 10 trips, 20 trips? How much is that equivalent to? What's it for 30 days? What's it for a year? That ends up to be a big number. So whatever money that you're going to make extra by not accepting, you could buy whatever you want with that money. You don't need like none of their perks. Those perks are worthless. But anyways, we'll get into that too, and we'll test some of the perks and stuff like that a little bit later on to see if they're even worth it. But I believe they're worthless. I'd rather get paid what I want, and then I'll decide what to do with the money, because I don't need none of that crap to offer me. The only thing is like fuel savings, but then fuel savings is kind of like is crap. That's gonna be a whole another video. Like there's some over there that I'll point out to you guys. It just doesn't make any sense. I will show you. It's just bunch of scams, basically. Kind of like, what is it, like get up fuel or something, some kind of fuel that savings that they flashed in there. It's just a scam, But anyways, guys, yes, this is the last thing I wanna say. If we all make a decision like businessmen, like you're a contractor, and we decide not to take the rides, okay? Let's say they do kick you off the platform for not accepting. They cannot kick everybody out, okay? If we just follow our rules and everybody's doing the same thing, we're all in the same boat, first of all, we're going to get paid more. Second of all, they can't kick us all out. They will not do that, because that's going to be a class action lawsuit on their hands, and they don't want that, and that's going to be like way too much bad press for them, so they don't want that. That being said, so if you do get kicked back, okay, so you'll have like evidence, like just screen record like your stuff or whatever. But anyways, if you get kicked for that, like that is a bad reason to kick you off the platform. Status is like one thing. So what else? Yeah, So Uber can't really hold any employees anyways. 90% of drivers quit anyways. So if you think about that, look how much they're paying off in bonuses and stuff to attract new talent, and they want old drivers back, and they'll give like these crazy bonuses to get old drivers back, maybe the ones that they kicked off the platform, maybe the ones that quit. It is one thing if you break in all kinds of rules, okay, you should be kicked off the platform, like if you're being like really bad, okay? But if you're making a business decision, how much money you should make, what's it costing you to run your business, and you get kicked off for that, now that is wrong. I do not agree with that, okay? So each of us will need to decide how much money is it worth for us to work. Because jobs now are paying a lot more. You could go flip burgers at McDonald's for 15 bucks an hour now. So imagine you get overtime, that's like time and a half, that's like $7.50 on top of that, it's like $22.50 that you're gonna make. The only downside is you're an actual employee and you'll have to pay more taxes. Our upside is we basically can write off all our miles or all expenses at the end of the year, and we will pay less in taxes, or maybe not at all, depending if you have a family with kids or whatever. So that all changes, but you should look at what makes sense for you. But personally, I like to be in charge of what I'm doing, and I want to make sure that I'm the one that's making decisions. If I'm a contractor, I got no benefits. There's like nothing. There's no healthcare. There's no dental plan. There is absolutely nothing. There is no unemployment if you lose your job. So they offer us nothing as far as that goes. Then we should make how much we need as a business owner. And then the benefit is, as we're doing this type of job, you should always focus on something else. Like you should maybe think about some kind of sales job or something, because you have all this time. You could like literally, and you're dealing with clients every day. So you could use that opportunity to do some kind of sales. So then that could be like a big plus. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself, guys. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.